She didn't know his name. She didn't ask where he came from. All she saw was a man sitting alone in the rain, shivering, silent, and something in her heart whispered, "Give." So she did, handing over her grandfather's old army jacket, the one that bore the weight of battle and memories of homecomings. She left it with a stranger and walked away. A week passed, and a helicopter landed in her quiet town. From it stepped the same man, donning the jacket, now adorned with 4 stars on his shoulders. This is the ripple effect of silent generosity meeting someone who could carry it forward. Infinitely. Welcome to Grateful Tales, where stories of heart and humanity find voice. Let's unravel what truly transpired. The rain had made its residence, not as a passing visitor, but like an unwelcome guest planning to linger. Helena Ridge, a small nook in Montana, was wrapped in this relentless cold downpour, making the wind feel menacing, biting. Mid-October clothed this little town in somber hues, where unlocked doors were safe but guarded hearts required effort to breach. Lauren Bennett, a 22-year-old fresh out of community college, wrapped herself tighter in her scarf as she exited the quaint bookstore where she worked part-time. The door chimed mournfully behind her, its sound lost amidst the rhythmic patter of rain. Now living with her grandmother in a creaking clapboard house, Lauren strived, working 6 days a week, to carve out her life's next chapter, though uncertainty clouded her path. She was not one for grand dreams or audacious gestures. She trusted in the power of showing up, steady and quiet, the way her grandfather always had. Her boots splashed lightly as she made her way to the bus stop, the sky a sheet of dull gray while the stubborn leaves clung fiercely to maple branches, painting the world in fiery reds and golds. That's when she noticed him, perched under the sparse cover of the old bus bench. The man seemed drenched to his very bones, unmoving, silent. His coat hung heavily, saturated, while his jeans matched the dark sheen of water. His shoulders carried more than just the wet and cold. They bore a weight, a burden unseen but deeply felt. Lauren hesitated for a moment. He didn't look simply weary, as if after a long day. He seemed burdened by a lifetime, as if he had forgotten how to seek help and wouldn't if he could remember. Moving slowly, she stopped. Her grandmother's lessons echoed. Don't approach strangers alone, especially at night, especially men. But Helena Ridge wasn't the city, and a silent conviction inside her urged Lauren not to walk away. Jostling the keys in her pocket, her fingers brushed against something old and familiar, the army jacket. Worn thin at the elbows, army green, it was her grandfather's, who had worn it through the Korean War, then on every fishing trip and Veterans Day till he passed. Such memories were sewn into its fabric that Lauren seldom wore it outside. But the chill had caught her off guard today. Now she paused. It meant more than warmth. This jacket was a vessel of memory and legacy, still faintly scented of cedar and tobacco. But as she beheld the man under the bench, something within her cracked open. She approached gently, stopping shy of the shelter. "Excuse me, sir," she offered softly. "Are you all right?" His response came slow, deliberate, as though each movement required cautious consideration. His eyes, sharp yet weary, met hers. "I'm fine," was his gravelly yet not unfriendly reply, echoing amidst the rain's steady rhythm. Lauren sensed otherwise. Glancing down at the coat she wore, then back at him, her heart moved her hands before her mind caught up. Without a second thought, she shrugged off the jacket. It was still warm from her, still dry. "Here," she said, holding it out. "It's too cold for anyone to be out like this." The man blinked, reluctant. "I can't take that," he murmured. Lauren nodded, her voice unwavering. "It's all right. It isn't just a jacket. It belonged to someone who always gave more than he took. I believe he'd want you to have it tonight." He held on to the jacket delicately, taking it with both hands and meeting her gaze with something profound, a deep understanding. "Thank you," he whispered, almost inaudibly adding, "That's what your father would have done." Lauren stilled, then corrected softly, "He was my grandfather, Sergeant James Bennett." Surprised by his insight, she watched the man stand, don the jacket, and vanish into the rain, leaving her alone under a vast gray sky. Lauren stood there for long minutes in the mist's embrace before heading home. Her grandmother awaited her at the table with the faint aromas of cinnamon and a life lived well, folding laundry in a cozy quiet. "Where's your coat, sweetheart?" she asked gently. Lauren sat opposite her grandmother, hesitation filling the space between words. "I gave it away," she confessed quietly, "to a man at the bus stop. He was so cold, so alone, I just knew I had to." Her grandmother offered no reprimands or questions. She just nodded, reaching to clasp Lauren's hand. "You did right," she assured her. "Your granddad would have been proud." Later, Lauren turned the pages of an old photo album, finding the black and white image of her grandfather in military attire, his demeanor strong and assured, his beloved jacket draped around him like a second skin. Lighting a small candle by a folded flag, lingering brightly in its place for years, she whispered, "I gave your coat away today, Grandpa. I hope, wherever you are, it found its way back to you." Because eventually, every quiet act of kindness circles back, and a simple jacket becomes more than just warmth. It becomes memory, legacy, love. In the stillness of a solitary Montana rain, the jacket wandered away with a stranger cradled in depths far beyond mere fabric. He walked away carrying something sacred. Yet the jacket's absence left behind an everlasting resonance. Lauren Bennett didn't recount her encounter with many, just to her grandmother and the framed photo now quietly sheltered beneath a candle by the window. Life quickly resumed its familiar rhythm. Morning bus rides, long shifts at the bookstore, and evenings devoted to helping her grandmother with everyday chores. Despite the heaviness she felt after giving away the jacket, she didn't expect any grand outcomes from her act. Not hope, nor a return. Yet sometimes the world notices when you aren't looking. That week, the store was peacefully quiet. A whisper of October's chill crept through the crooked window panes as Lauren categorized books by genre and dusted untouchable shelves, sipping lukewarm coffee from a worn cup. Conversations with customers were brief. She preferred to quietly absorb her surroundings, an act that felt like a tribute to her grandfather. On Wednesday, Mrs. Langley returned. At 93, nearly blind and fiercely independent, she fumbled at checkout before realizing she had left her wallet behind. "Don't worry, pay me next time," Lauren reassured kindly, knowing Mrs. Langley's pride would provide more difficulty than the book's price ever could. It was these small kindnesses, done away from the world's spotlight, that had a way of echoing back when least expected. By Friday afternoon, while shelving paperback novels, a man, composed and middle-aged in an overcoat, entered the bookstore. He moved without hesitation and seemed to shift the air around him. Approaching the counter, he asked directly, "Did you give away a military jacket last week?" Caught off guard, Lauren replied, "Yes, it was my grandfather's," uncertainty in her tone. "What era was it from?" the man inquired, his voice hinting at significance. "The Korean War," Lauren confirmed. "He was Sergeant James Bennett." Nodding thoughtfully, the man offered a just perceptible smile and simply said, "Thank you," before turning and vanishing down the rain-kissed sidewalk without another word. Stunned, Lauren stood at the counter, heart pounding from this unexpected encounter, wondering if the jacket had indeed returned to someone who appreciated its value. That night, she confided in her grandmother. The elder woman reached into a rarely opened drawer, extracting an aged, fragile-looking envelope. "This was with the jacket when he came home," her grandmother explained as Lauren took the envelope with care. Inside lay a military-issued inventory form, stamped and signed at the bottom in faded ink. Issued to SGT James E. Bennett, 1st Marine Division, 1952. Return not required. Lauren traced the words thoughtfully, feeling their weight settle in her chest like a heartbeat as clues began to align. Maybe it was never meant to be just a jacket after all. Its purpose extended beyond warmth, serving as a bridge across generations, a symbol of continuity, connection, and enduring service. With the weekend's slow pace, the world seemed still in Helena Ridge. People noticed Lauren in quiet ways, gestures like offering assistance to a veteran at the grocery store or forfeiting an umbrella to a stranded mother at the library. None of these actions received applause or public acknowledgement, but little by little, the town gradually noticed what echoed, and that was seeing her. Walking home from the post office one afternoon, she stumbled upon a small gathering by the flagpole at the high school. Initially perplexed, she quickly realized what it was as the solemn notes of a military bugle filled the air. A funeral for a local veteran had drawn the community together one last time. Standing amongst the somber crowd, a woman in uniform turned and spotted Lauren. "Are you Lauren Bennett?" she inquired softly. Surprised, Lauren nodded, acknowledging her truth in silence. "My husband told me about you," acknowledged the stranger. "He said the next generation remembers." Touched, Lauren barely managed to nod, her throat tightening with unexpected emotion, while the woman offered a gentle salute. An act simple yet deeply reverent, imbued with honor and recognition, echoed through Lauren long after she returned home. That night, heart fuller and purpose clearer, she retrieved her neglected folders containing unfinished scholarship forms. Her grandfather had believed in her, and that conviction propelled her forward as she penned decisive answers, committed to pathways unplanned yet certain she could pave them as he once had. In those early morning hours, with the fog washing over Helena Ridge, Lauren redefined the term legacy, not only feeling it but living it. The morning fog wrapped Helena Ridge in a shroud of mist as silent as a whispered secret. By 6:10 a.m., the town barely stirred. An occasional porch light flickered here and there. A milkman's van rumbled softly down deserted streets. Lauren Bennett stood in her kitchen, pouring steaming coffee for her grandmother when an unexpected noise disrupted the quiet. The distant hum quickly transformed into the familiar, powerful whoop of helicopter blades cutting through the morning air. Lauren paused, her breath fogging the chilly glass as she peered out into the soft dawn light. A military helicopter, its form solid and gray, gracefully descended onto the field behind the elementary school, its rotors sending leaves and tiny pebbles scattering. It was a scene witnessed by only a handful, but within moments, word spread like wildfire, bringing Helena Ridge to life. Standing frozen on her porch, Lauren watched in awe as the man she had once gifted her grandfather's jacket to stepped off the aircraft. There he stood, no longer a rain-soaked mystery, but fully adorned in an impressive dress uniform, with insignia gleaming on his shoulder, 4 stars asserting his presence. Wordlessly, the convoy approached her street, and Lauren heard a knock at her door, followed by her grandmother's awestruck whisper, "Lauren, they're here. He's here." The air crackled with anticipation as she slowly opened the door to find General Raymond Cole standing on her front porch, flanked by aides and local deputies. Noticeably composed, the general offered a gentle smile as he greeted, "Miss Bennett?" Lauren's acknowledgement caught in her throat, her heart pounding. "I believe we met in the rain," General Cole continued with warmth that belied his formal presence. Nodding, Lauren remembered vividly but hadn't known the depths his identity held until now. Seated in the living room amid tremulous anticipation, the general placed a folded envelope on the table between them. "Let me explain," he began. "For months, I've been part of a classified initiative, Bridging Generations. We're connecting veterans with civilians who display traits we once thought exclusive to those in uniform." He paused for a moment, observing Lauren's reaction. "You weren't chosen accidentally, Miss Bennett. Whoever witnessed your act of kindness saw more than a gesture. It was a profound reflection of true values." In the silence that followed, General Cole opened the folder. Inside lay a certificate with Lauren's name scripted boldly, alongside the statement that captured it all. Recognized for embodying the timeless virtues of honor, service, and leadership, echoing the United States Armed Forces' best traditions, her certificate radiated a quiet brilliance. Beneath the official language was a golden statement that resonated deeply. A soldier's heart, even without a soldier's attire. Overwhelmed, Lauren struggled to articulate her gratitude. I don't know what to say," she whispered, emotion thick in her voice. "No need to say anything," General Cole responded gently. "You made your statement with that jacket." He handed over another envelope, this one containing a life-changing invitation. The offer of a full scholarship left Lauren in momentary disbelief. Beside it, a typed line, the recognition she never sought. One simple act of honor commencing her next chapter. As the final rays of morning scattered across Helena Ridge, The town collectively gathered outside to witness this remarkable moment. Though quiet, their applause was profound, their respect palpable. The depth of their regard tangible in each handshake offered to Lauren as veterans approached to express appreciation. "Thank you for reminding us why we served in the first place," one said with heartfelt sincerity, a reminder of shared legacies across generations. Overwhelmed, her grandmother stood nearby, tears of joy slipping silently as it felt like Sergeant James Bennett had somehow returned home, a merging of past and present, of honor and continuity. The helicopter's departure felt like a prayer carried on the wind, leaving in its wake a town no longer defined by its size, but by the enduring humanity born from a single quiet gesture. With a scholarship to pursue and the conviction of her grandfather behind her, Lauren Bennett sat in new beginnings with a heart filled with possibility, ready to weave a future unknown, but assuredly one crafted by kindness and perseverance. The scholarship materialized quietly, a simple letter with Lauren's name, transporting more than just provision. Full tuition, housing, and a paid internship as an acknowledgement that the smallest acts can ignite profound change, a belief now tied to her soul in unwavering resolve. Her grandmother dabbed at misty eyes, sharing, "Your granddad would crack his dentures grinning if he were here." Soft laughter blended with the joy that filled the room as Lauren gave a knowing nod, her spirit buoyed by gratitude and determination in equal measure. Within weeks, she moved closer to town, assuming a role at a newly renovated veteran resource office 3 times a week. Her task was to connect generations, listening, remembering, reinforcing her grandfather's quiet ethos carried forward through simple, heartful actions. In Helena Ridge's Veteran Hall, a jacket now stood enshrined, epitomizing service transcended through generations. Its glass case held not just fabric, but legacy, echoing a message engraved in bronze. Kindness is a legacy, too. Lauren didn't cry upon seeing it, but instead allowed herself a moment of quiet reflection, her hand resting on the case as she silently thanked her grandfather for guiding a legacy of love, one that could now bridge time, connecting the past to the future through enduring acts of compassion. As the dedication ceremony swelled with the subdued energy of nostalgia and remembrance, Lauren Bennett stood in the Veteran Hall of Helena Ridge, her heart full, yet peaceful. Fold-out chairs arranged in neat lines were occupied by solemn faces softened by years and memory. Near the back, an older gentleman with silver hair, sporting a worn Vietnam-era cap, observed quietly until the room began to disperse. Stepping forward with careful resolve, Walter Grady reached for the microphone, his fingers trembling yet determined. "Name's Walter," he started, voice gravelly and seasoned. "Served with the 1st Cavalry, 68 to 70. The room quieted, attention drawn to his words. "I've witnessed many things, brave and terrible, things I kept hidden from everyone." He paused, his gaze resting appreciatively on Lauren. "But recently, I saw something else. A young woman gave away a jacket like it was the only thing she had. No fanfare, no hesitation, no expectations." Walter's voice wavered slightly, but his conviction blossomed as eyes around the room focused on forgiving shadows of his past. "For the longest time, I believed such small acts of kindness disappeared with our generation." Raising his head, he locked eyes with Lauren, adding, "I was wrong." Silence followed, a potent testament to Walter's declaration, broken gently by the softest applause, a ripple of recognition that grew into a crescendo of acknowledgement. They didn't merely applaud the story of the jacket. They honored the reminder that compassion could still bridge gaps between unknown lives. Quiet and private, the applause spoke louder than words, affirmation that they saw her, not just as the girl who gave away a beloved coat, but as a bearer of legacy. In a shoebox at home, Lauren kept the thank you notes that had filtered in since the story's ripple. The ones she cherished most were from students, written in wobbly handwriting, speaking of how her story inspired their own acts of kindness. Veterans from neighboring towns echoed similar sentiments, and, in one notably touching gesture, a letter arrived from a mother out of state who had learned of Lauren's story online. "You reminded me," it read, "of my father's silent service, which, though unspoken, carried within it great dignity." But there was another letter she treasured most. It was written in firm handwriting on thick paper, folded with care and carried sometimes, its words a balm to uncertainties still lingering. "Lauren," it began, "you may never realize it, but that jacket transcended fabric. It was legacy sewn with threads of memory. By giving it selflessly in the rain without understanding who I was or asking for recognition, you invoked what we once fought for. Not territory, not medals, but the enduring virtues of dignity, humanity, and decency. You've resurrected those values. Maybe unknowingly, but defiantly. You've helped me stand tall once again. Thank you. General Raymond Cole." Lauren never showcased this letter, keeping it safely tucked at the bottom of her drawer, nestled next to an old army button from her grandfather's shirt, a quiet safeguard for thoughts untouched by worldly display. As the year rolled gently forward, marking the anniversary of the helicopter's arrival, Lauren found herself longing for solitude on her reflection field. The grass had grown wild, kissed by the sun, interspersed with wildflowers scattered whimsically along the fence line. Early in the morning, long before the town stirred, she walked onto that field, letter delicately folded in her hand. Looking out towards the horizon's embrace with the land, shrouded by faint fog, she didn't say much. She merely listened, the rhythmic hum of what once was echoed through her senses, the rotor's soft, steady beat slicing through the morning silence. In that reverie, Lauren sensed her grandfather's presence, an assurance that he'd witnessed her journey, a whisper almost that the kindness they shared hadn't perished with him. It lived on, cradled in those who dared to carry it forward, and in a singular moment amidst drizzles of rain, with the jacket embroidered with memory, she had reignited its flame. Folding the letter back once more, placing it over her heart, she slowly returned home. Sometimes the simplest gestures linger longest, resonating profoundly through lives touched silently by a ripple. An old army jacket, now stilled within a glass case, had spun a tale of unity, a testament to how kindness paved the roads between generational divides, a quilt of shared humanity. Lauren Bennett, carving her path amid Helena Ridge's towering trees and ageless stories, felt a legacy within her pulse, driven by experiences past and present, with a future uncharted but promising. In quiet moments, the town awoke to the soft embrace of dawn and new clouds of possibility emerged, tethered by one simple truth. In the darkest chapters, kindness has its own way of finding a path, sometimes in the quietest of places, cloaked beneath tattered garments once forgotten. While not everyone seeks acknowledgement, some secretly pray that today, somewhere, someone isn't left wanting, and maybe, just maybe, that lone act was fertilizer to hope, resilience, and change, writing new paragraphs in Helena Ridge's silent streams of time, allowing history's voice to remain audible and poignant. As time advanced, Lauren Bennett found Helena Ridge shedding its quiet anonymity, blossoming within its old roots while nurturing the present. Her days at the Veteran Resource Office gave meaning to her routines, connecting people through stories both new and ageless. The community program she helped organize, which brought middle schoolers to listen and write to veterans, sparked exchanges and understanding, marketing seeds of empathy and continuity. Navigating her path with genuine intention, Lauren realized that staying in Helena Ridge was more than choice. It was kinship with her past, with the voice of her grandfather whispering wisdom through small actions. Her connection to the community deepened, each shared cup of coffee and simple offer to help enriching the lives she touched, stitching finer threads of legacy quietly into its fabric. A year after that defining morning, the dedication of Sergeant Bennett's jacket as part of the Veteran Hall became Helena Ridge's poignant emblem, a melting pot of service and continuity, carrying stories forward. Beyond being a mere relic behind glass, it represented unity, a bridge connecting hearts and memories interwoven through time. On a brisk autumn morning, as vibrant leaves danced lightly upon the gentle breeze, Lauren organized a story sharing session at the Resource Center, inviting veterans and students alike. The room filled slowly, resonating with expectant energy interlaced with the weight of generations. Students listened intently to tales of courage and valor shared by graying figures who still bore the unwavering glint in their eyes, each yarn spun imbuing the moment with strength and vulnerability. Lauren felt the profound simplicity of their narratives, the perpetual honesty of living through seasons of both doubt and belief, emerging as more than mere tales, to show through lived experience the intrinsic worth of open-heartedness. This realization fortified her resolve and enhanced the understanding that her small town, Helena Ridge, was an ever-evolving tapestry of strength nurtured by heritage and bound together through compassionate choices. Reflecting later upon that time spent, Lauren returned to her apartment, where amidst the evening's approach, quiet solitude greeted her like a familiar friend. From a drawer in her desk, she retrieved the weathered button of her grandfather's uniform and lay it beside the folded letter from General Cole. Together, they signified something far greater, a testament to the ability of ordinary actions to forge extraordinary legacy. On one idle afternoon, as sunlight filtered tenderly through lace curtains, Lauren received an unexpected visitor. Mrs. Langley, frail yet resolute as life's embodiment, rested her hat upon the counter, extending trembling hands holding a lovingly preserved envelope. "Dear, I thought you might like this," she whispered, voice tinged with nostalgia and anticipation. "Something of mine I'd kept, like your grandfather's jacket, a thread to our shared past." Curiosity piqued, Lauren carefully took the envelope, noting its age and delicate condition. Inside lay a photograph, faded yet evocative, revealing two young women in uniform, their expressions radiant with purpose, their days ahead filled with unwritten potential. "That's me with my dear friend, Emmett," Mrs. Langley breathed, eyes gleaming through years of memory. Lauren listened, heart open, absorbing each detail as Mrs. Langley shared their post-war experiences. She spoke of evenings spent beneath starlit skies, dreams unfurling like flags in the wind, of promises to uphold dignity for which they stood firmly, and the inevitable tug of parting time. While mainly personal, these stories tethered Lauren to another layer of understanding not just her town, but a kinship with past generations, a resonant familiarity she now held close. In the days following, Lauren typed notes and reflections, composing entries that shaped future programs at the office, illuminating the narratives of Helena Ridge. In the gentle embrace of autumn, she realized these exchanges were not fleeting. They were vibrant, dancing across ridges of time, caressing past and present with an essence ensuring each story wasn't just told, but felt. They transformed her future's canvas, painting possibilities that rose to echo kindness etched within them. Sitting quietly under the sinking sun's burnished warmth, she acknowledged, a single jacket, a simple act of unwitnessed generosity, had become a herald for generations to listen and share, to embrace threads unfurling their truth across divides once vast, but now bridged by empathy and understanding. Through shared tales, Helena Ridge whispers its promise anew, a third current in an eternal stream, thriving within and resonating far beyond its borders. A salute to legacy written in the intricate languages of community and enduring love.